Ooh, all aboard Hot Mess Express. I need to change my little intro out here. Welcome to Sabrina's Craft-nanigans, known as Hot Mess Sundays, but it's a Tuesday. Listen to find out why. Hey guys, Hot Mess Sabrina here. We're on a Hot Mess Tuesday. It is the first of the month. I am here with the first of the month collab with my good friend Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY and Miss Krista from Krista's Crafty Life. You guys make sure to go check out their channel links in my description box. Those two ladies are amazing, awesome, wonderful. If you like farmhouse decor and those kind of good things, check out Brenda. If you like laser cut crafts and want to get your own kits and all that kind of stuff, go check out Miss Krista. Those two ladies are absolutely fabulous. Also, for our first of the month collab, make sure you go down to my description box. You guys know what to do, and check out the playlist link for all the amazing creators in our first of the month collaboration. This month, it's July. Guess what? It's Christmas in July. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. Jingle your bells, people. Here we go. We needed to do 3 Christmas projects, and I put 3 brand new projects together for you. Had to kind of dig through my little craft basket a little bit because most of my stuff is still in storage right now, but I got some things together for you. We're going together with the theme, I'll be home for Christmas. And of course I'll be. Have been here all year. Haven't gone anywhere and don't plan to be. That's kind of what my little 3 projects revolve around, is the I'll be home for Christmas thing. I hope you enjoy these 3 little projects. You guys make sure to check out Brenda and Krista's and the playlist links down below. Give all these beautiful ladies a like, a thumbs up, share out our videos. Make sure you comment, even if just a little emoji. None of this costs you absolutely anything, but it helps our channels grow. And guys, I am less than 200 subscribers away from hitting my 1,000. Wouldn't that be the greatest Christmas present, is to hit my 1,000 by the time Christmas does get here in December? Oh, but I know we can do it faster than that. Come on, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all those good, fun things. I hope you enjoy our Christmas in July. I love you guys. Get ready for the hot mess. Here we go. Love y'all. Okay, guys, here we go. Yep, dancing phalanges, Jade. Got my dancing phalanges going on. Okay, so Christmas in July. My little theme here is going to be I'll be home for Christmas. So I've got that first little hollow out looking house there. And then I got that solid one that I got at Dollar General. And this one came from the Target dollar spot, but I got it at Goodwill. So did the other little hollow one right there. Came from Goodwill as well. So let's take one of these babies and let's Christmas it up. We're going to take this one that is a Christmas countdown, but it was just so bland. We don't want bland. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to take the numbers off. I'm just going to, those little hooks just screwed out, so I just screw them back out. But I make sure that I tape them together, and then I will tape them to the numbers so that I do not lose them, or some fuzzy little creature doesn't come off and kick them on the floor. Okay, what we're going to do is, you can see I sanded down where the holes were and also the bottom where the words were. And then I just took some Snow White paint and I gave it just one coat because we just need a little background there. I'm always going to take a toothpick here and make sure that my holes for the little screw hooks do not get stopped up. So I did that right there to make sure the paint don't dry up there inside. We're going to take this napkin that I do believe I got at Dollar Tree a year or 2 ago. You can see I set one of my numbers back on the board because I want to make sure that when they're hanging, they don't cover up the truck at the bottom. And I'm going to just take my fingernails and crease it inside the roof up there. And I'm going to cut some of this extra excess off with a dull pair of scissors. And I'll get me another dull pair of scissors, but it works better than the small dull pair of scissors. And I'm going to cut that off. Now, also, if your napkin is 2-3 ply, you got to get all the plies off except for the very top one where your picture is. I didn't do that in here because I was having hot mess trouble on the struggle bus. But as you can see, it looks much lighter over there to the left because I did get all the plies off. We're going to take some Mod Podge here, and I'm going to put a nice layer of Mod Podge. It does not have to be too thick because this is just a very thin napkin. The thicker your material, kind of the more Mod Podge you want. We're going to use the iron-on method. So what I did is I dried that Mod Podge, stuck my napkin back on, got a piece of parchment paper, got my little iron heated, and now what we're going to do is we're going to iron this on. I like to start from the center and go out to the edges because that hopefully gets rid of all the bubbles and the creases. hopefully. And then once I think I'm done, I swirl it around and around. There she is, all pretty stuck. And I also check, make sure all my edges are stuck down. Good to go. Now I'm going to add another little coat of Mod Podge to give it a final seal right here. And then once I get that brushed on, we'll make sure it dries again. If you've never done the iron-on method, when you put the parchment paper on, make sure that's important. You don't want glue all over your iron, and you don't want to mess up your napkin. The reason it works is because it reactivates the Mod Podge to make it sticky. Okay, so I dried that up a little bit, and then whoop, gotta make sure I keep my holes open for my little screw hooks there. So I take my take my toothpick and poke them back out. I went ahead and sanded around the edges with my zip sander, took my little rolly cutter tool there, and I made sure that any extra napkin that was up the top came off, and now I'm pulling my painter's tape off. I had put that on there originally because when I was painting the white, I just knew I'd get it all over that roof. So there we go. Please do not mind the trees up at the top in the corner. That's okay. We're going to take care of that. We're going to use some Imperial chalk paint by Home Decor. And I'm just going to paint the chimney. I was in debate of whether to paint the roof or the chimney, but I went for the chimney. So I taped off that part of the roof, and I'm just painting that with that red Imperial Home Decor. And I just gave it one coat. That's all it took, because it was like natural wood. Now, I noticed that that was a lot brighter than the red in my truck. The truck looked more burgundy. So I'm just taking a very fine tip paintbrush, and I'm painting over the red on the truck with that Imperial red to try to get it to be about the same color. And it does work out. And once I get that painted, I then take a couple Sharpie markers and a Posca paint pen, outline everything, and just to brighten it up a little bit. Okay, so all dry, all done, all ready. So now I'm just going to screw my little hooks back in. This one, I was making sure they got really tight, tighter than they were. So this one, I needed my little pliers here and gave it another good little twist. So they're in there tight. We can put our numbers back on here. It's going to be still going to be a countdown to Christmas. We've just judged it up a little bit. Now I need something at the bottom. I want something at the top. Okay, so at the top, I've just got a couple pieces of greenery and a cute little gnome that came from Dollar Tree of a pack of 6, I think it was. And if you guys were around for me last Christmas, you know I love my red and black buffalo check. And if you've been around, you know I love my gnomes. So mix that up. So we're going to put that up there, but I flipped his hat over and glued that because I don't like their hat sticking straight up. We're going to glue our greenery on first. So I got 2 longer pieces of just some fern type greenery, fir, pine stuffs that is in my stash. Every bit of this was in my stash. I'm so proud of myself. Did not buy a thing. It was all in my stash, in my loot. Hoop-de-doop. Then we'll put a couple smaller pieces of pine, fir, tree stuff on top of that. And there's the moosey. Yep, walking across everything, checking it out, making sure everything's going well. Yep. Boop, boop. Dust off the mirror there. There we go. Not mirror. Camera. Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to take my gnome, and then I'm just going to glue my little gnome right in the middle of the pine fir there. So we'll get some hot glue on that baby right there. We'll glue that on there just like that. And I'll sit that and fluff it for 30 minutes, but I cut quite a bit of that out, so you didn't have to watch that. Now, I figured, oh, he's got to have something on the end of his hat. Something just, I keep going through this. Everything I've done in this whole entire video, I kept thinking, I need something else. I need something else. I need something else. Well, for him, I just gave him a little jingle bell. And that looked a lot better. Now, I wanted something at the bottom, so I just went to my Cricut and I cut out, I'll be home for Christmas. Well, of course I'll be. I'm already here. Okay, anyway, enough with the jokes. They're not funny. Okay, so, and then I'm just pulling this off. I did not put you through the printing and the weeding and the pulling it off because that, yeah, another hot mess for another hot day. Okay. I'm just branding that on, make sure it's stuck, and then I'm going to take my matte Mod Podge, and I'm going to go over that just one more time, just down there at the bottom, just to make sure my letters stay on, and nobody decides to come off. There we go, and I think that was all. I'm thinking I need a little bit of snow or something on top of the chimney, but I don't have any of that fake snow, you know, that you can buy, put on. That's all probably in a stash, or I need to go buy some. I don't know. Anyway, here's house number 2. So this pretty house came from Dollar General, but I got it on at Goodwill for $2 or like $2.99. First of all, we're going to get all the tags off the back, and I also scraped all that glue off where that burlap and the tag was attached. We're going to cover this side right here with some fabric that came from the Dollar Tree. There is my red and black buffalo check that I love for Christmas. I'm just going to trace around that, but kind of go a little bit, not right along the edge, but a little bit more on the outside so I can have a little extra, because it's better to have too much than too little. You can always take away. You can always add, but you can't take away. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so you can see how it was good that I got out the edges, because I cut that a little crooked up there at the top. Now, since this is fabric, you need a little bit more Mod Podge for this one. So I drowned this thing in Mod Podge, which still ended up being too much. Okay, and I just spread this all over. Make sure you get to your edges real good, all that good stuff. Took a wipey and I went around the sides of the house, because I don't want it to go around the sides. I just want it on top. I'll set this on there, and I want to make sure like it's straight. That's my thing with the lines. I had to make sure it was straight. So I pressed and pulled at this for a little bit until it all looked nice and straight. Had one line right down the middle. We'll put a good amount of Mod Podge on top again and just spread all that out. Make sure you go to your edges real good. Make sure it's nice and smooth, and we'll let it dry. Let that dry overnight. Now we're going to come back, and I'm just, believe it or not, it makes the fabric so hard and stiff that you can take your zip sander and it zips and sands that fabric right off the edge just like that. Ba-bam! So I got all that nice and smooth, and now we get to decorate. So I had these. They were from Hobby Lobby, but these I got after Christmas. So they were like, what, 70% off? Oh yeah, racked up, baby. This little bead that was on the end of the tree kept coming off, so I glued that sucker back on. You're not coming off again. Yeah, buddy. Trying to fluff my tree up back there where they had it stuck. Now, we're going to use this tag that was wrapped on there with twine, but I'm going to just flip it over. It didn't need to be painted. It looked good. If you wanted to paint it a different color, if you found this house or whatever, you could. I'm just taking, this was some stickers my friend Shelly gave me. Thank you, Shelly. They're by Recollections. I think you get that stuff at Michael's, but no telling how long ago these were purchased. Shelly had a good stash. And I got just the one that says, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. I love puns. And I'm going to take my matte Mod Podge, and I'm just going to go over that just to make sure the sticker stays on there really good. And if you wanted to ever do something else with this, you could still always flip it over, and it could say home if you wanted it to. And you could paint it. You could do whatever. You could go to your vinyl machine. You could just take a Sharpie and write on it if you wanted to. You could put a picture on it, not words. Whatever you want. So that other piece of burlap that they had on there was like in pieces. It wasn't one full piece of twine, so I just chunked it. I'm gluing the end here to make kind of a tip on it. I'm going to unroll what I think I need, and I'm going to burn it. You don't have to do this step. I do have water nearby, so don't ever panic, but I like playing with fire. So I burned all the fuzzies and stuff off the burlap because I don't like all that mess on there. And then I am going to take my tip there that I made with the hot glue and twisted it. And I am twisting it through that hole. I was so happy that it fit because I was a little worried that that jute twine was too thick, but it wasn't. It worked out really good. And then I'm going to take it and I just wrapped it around twice. And then I'm going to just tie it on the back here. Learned a little trick from somebody else I watched. If you take your pinky and hold it, it helps you tie it a lot better. Of course, I didn't stay with my pinky, but it did work a lot better than trying to need 5 hands to try to hold it. And I spread the twine out a little bit, and then to make sure my little sign in the middle stays, I just put a little bit of glue, not a whole lot. That way, if I want to take it off and do something else with it, I can. I just didn't want it flopping all over or flipping because, you know, it's not like stuff gets knocked around here and knocked on the floor and damaged or anything like that, you know. So, anyway. And I just put a little glue on my knot right there to make sure that's stuck. Now, here's where I was going to stop, but then I'm like, no, we got to have something else. So I had these white pit berries, pit Cheerio. I probably got from the Dollar Tree like during 4th of July time last year or something. And I make the same kind of X cross like I did with the burlap. See there? And I'm just going to make sure that that's pretty tight so that it doesn't wiggle around too much. And I'll cut that off, and then I'll glue both of those ends down. So this just kind of gave it a pop of white. so that everything wasn't just red, and it kind of mixed the white tag in a little bit, and we just don't have all the red and black in there. So I got those two sides of the pit berries glued on. Does anybody else have the trouble when you're messing with pit berries that the berries fall out of the twine? I have that happen all the time. Or is it just because it's Dollar Tree time? Look out, here he comes again. He like Jaws. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. Anyway, I took my little truck there and I cut the backside of the tree off. Look at that face. Look at that face. Yeet. And that way it would lay flatter against it. So I just kind of snipped some of the back of the tree off so that it lays flat and it doesn't wiggle. And then I put some hot glue on it. Don't know how long it'll hold, but we'll see. And I just kind of put that in the bottom corner. And that was going to be it once again. And I'm thinking, nope. I wanted something in the middle to cover that hole where the plaque was and the twine went through and where the pit berries crossed. So I'm just making a 3-loop finger bow here. You just loop, 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 loop. There you go. Tuck it under, come over, pull it up underneath that final one, pull tight, get it off your fingers, pull it a little tight again, fluff, there you go. And once again, I like to play with fire. Here we go. Singeing my fuzzies. Doop, 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 doop. Singe away. And then I'll glue that to the top of that so that covers that hole. It covers where the pit berries cross. And that was going to be it. Well, first I clipped my strings on. I wish I would have left the strings on this, the jute twine long. Not that long as the left one, but I wish I wouldn't have cut it that short. That was too short. I wish I would have left it a little bit longer. Okay, so this is where I was going to stop, right? Yeah, I'm happy. Wait, no. I need something in the top, in the corner. So I pulled this little, it's like some pine needles, a little bell, some little white berries, and some little pine cones. And this came off, I don't know if you've been at Dollar Tree during Christmas, they have the 2 ornaments, and they look like the roller skates. Not roller skates, oh my Lanta, ice skates. Yeah, that's what they are. And I just pulled, this is like in the top of it. I just yanked that out, pulled it apart and kind of put it back together with some jute twine. That way it would stick better. I could just put the glue on the jute twine instead of each piece of the pine and the berries and anyway. I just tied that together and I glued that bundle up at the top. Then those bells came off the skates as well. And I glued that on top of the twine of the little floral bush I made there. And then I'm thinking, okay, that's it. Well, nope, I got to put my pine cones back in. Better hurry and get them on for somebody plays with them. So I'm deciding where the little plastic pine cones need to go. Supervisor there watching. See, he's watching. Look, he's just sitting there watching. Look, he looking all innocent. Looking in there watching. Guys, if you like the Moosey, hey, give me a thumbs up. Comment on the Moosey. He knows he's the greatest thing ever. Let him know. Show him your love. Give him a comment. Give him a like. Share him out with your friends. He's got the popularity going on here. I passed inspection. I got a head boop. Anyway, so then I decided, okay, nope, still not done. So I'm going to make another finger bow here to put that on top of where all that was glued to kind of cover all that mess. And we'll set things on fire again. We'll trim everything up. We'll get that glued on top because, just can't ever stop. Okay, so we're going to cut those. The legs. Yeah, we're going to call them legs. Yeah, And I also hit it with the fire again to burn those ends so they don't ravel. I'm done, right? Right? I'm done. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Feel a little bit better? Wait. No, not done. Okay. So I felt like I needed something in the middle of that bow up there. So I found this just floating around in my tote. Little red snowflake, which kind of brought in the red shininess of the truck. Okay. Number 3. I'm going to make a nativity scene. I'm going to take this cute little house here, which since I bought it, reminded me of a manger. So I got some trees. I got this little manger scene ornaments from Hobby Lobby, but not for that price. I waited till after Christmas. Got some Excelsior, and I had some hay bales and trees, and then I have this metal star right here, and I don't use not the metal star. I do not use the trees, and I forgot to use the hay bales, but I did use the Excelsior. I'm just going to kind of spread that out, and this is a really fine Excelsior. It's not a thick one. It's not like raffia, really. It's the Excelsior, I guess, which is thinner. So, we got to call it all sorts of different names. I'm just going to squiggle some glue into the bottom of that and then just set this on top. Notice I've got my little silicone thing there to help me, but do I use it? No, it just sits there. So I'm just going to pat this down, and then I'm going to squeeze the sides to make sure it goes over. I kind of take it and pull the front a little bit of the Excelsior to get it kind of over the side and the front, but the back side, I clean it up a little bit. Watch out, quality control is back. Probably wants to eat the hay and the Excelsior, you know. Yep. Okay, so there we go. So our little manger is ready, and this is home, right? Yeah. Okay, well, the nativity scene, they're ornaments, so I didn't want the hangers on there, so I cut them off, and then I kind of burnt the end a little bit because there was still a little bit sticking out, so that kind of melted it a little. And we're going to glue these in the manger scene, so we'll start with the baby Jesus, and we'll get him in there, and I just kind of shuffle them down in the Excelsior there, hey, and squish them on down there and hold them down in. So we'll get Jesus, and we'll get Mary and Joseph in there. Mary was having a little bit of a trouble there. Yeah. And then we'll get Joseph. And there we go. There's those. And I know this looks like really big for these little tiny miniature ornaments, but I couldn't resist. I bought these ornaments and then that house and have wanted to make a nativity scene for a year now. And I'm going to do it in the summer. And that's okay. It's ready to go when Christmas comes. There we go. So isn't that so cute? The animals were so adorable in that. Now, it had an angel in it, and when I was cutting off all the strings to the other ones, I cut the angel's string off, which I did not mean to do because I was going to hang the angel from that hook that's in the back. Oh boy. So I had to make another string, so I just took some jute twine. Yeah, it's kind of bulky, and yeah, I may find some thinner twine later or something. And anyway, so, and then I tied a loop at the top and then just hung her. Now, instead of using that original metal star that I got, I found this in my stash, which probably came from my friend Shelly. It was an ornament. I just cut the wire out of that. This looked more appropriate and more with the size and the way it is than just that little old metal star over there. It kind of filled in a lot of the space since this is the house itself was so big. So I'm just going to take this. I liked it. I didn't paint it or anything. I liked it. I thought it was beautiful the way it was. Kind of glittery and it's gold. And I'm going to put that right up there at the top. There it is. Okay. Get some of that extra glue off there. So again, did not use the trees, did not use that star that I originally got, and I forgot to use the hay bales. I really did mean to use the hay bales. The tree and the star was an exchange. I changed my mind, but I just completely forgot the hay bales. But anyway, there it is. Isn't it adorable? I'm just so happy with this project. Now, I got something for y'all. So, this would sit up, right? I have this tree thing. It was on a stake. I think I got it at Dollar General, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway. But it's like 3D kind of. But it's been kind of tore up. Now, I would not leave it like this, okay? If I were to do this, I was thinking about putting this tree in the background. I think that looks cool. Now, of course, I would repaint it and all that stuff and put just one word at the top or something. I would repaint this. So, tree or no tree? What do y'all think? I put it here in the closing with the tree just because I wanted a backdrop so you could see the figurines a little bit better. So, do you think I should keep the tree behind it? And I mean, I'll repaint it and everything. And maybe just one word or like, you know, the silver words that you can get at Dollar Tree or whatever. But there they are, guys. Let me know down in comments if I should get that tree painted and put it on the back of the manger scene or if I should just leave it alone. But there's your countdown. There's no place like home. And there's the best part of it all right there. If you guys like what you see, like, subscribe, comment. I love you guys.